Hello again. Welcome to Community Viewpoint. My name is Dr. Christopher Salute. I want to thank you so much for being with me. It's my 6th or 7th show. I'm still a noob, as the kids would say. That means a rookie for those of us who are 30 and older. Would like to thank always KPVM for having me, as well as Mikey for producing the show. And I am here with an incredible guest, Charlie Bruce. Now, Charlie's here with the Nice Space. And Charlie, I tend to say this pretty often on the show. I'm terrible at introducing folks. So I will remind folks that your favorite pastime is underwater basket weaving, but I won't actually touch upon why you're here. So why don't you tell us a bit about yourself?
I do not like underwater basket weaving, but like you said, I am Charlie, and I'm here representing the local makerspace, which is something I do in my volunteer time only, but is a creative space for the public. So I'm loving the opportunity to talk about it more.
Now that is news to me. I did not know that that was something you were volunteering your time with until today. Yeah. Now this is based out of the coalition, or tell us a bit about it.
Yeah, so we have been running Nice Space, which if you get a kick out of the name, it was solely my creation, so please give me all the kudos. But it is... And he just connected the MySpace connection. So we have been running the Makerspace in our volunteer time, my best friend Nick and I, since last April. We're housed at the coalition, but we operate pretty independently, and we run workshops and open lab hours for the public for free.
Very cool. Now, your day job, right?
Yep.
This is your side hustle, although
yes.
I don't think it makes you any money.
No.
Your day job is that you work at Health and Human Services here at Nye County.
That is correct. I started in October, but have been in Pahrump the last 7 years. So.
Okay, cool. And we'll touch on that for sure.
Yep.
So here's my question. I originally had connected with you with regard to the Nice Space about art.
Yes.
But, and please talk about art. What else,
Yes.
If we don't know what a makerspace is, what is it?
So makerspace is typically considered one of those big city metro things. You usually find them in Vegas or Reno or bigger cities, but I think the concept is an incredible idea no matter where you are. And our focus is only on giving access to cool things for free as much as possible. So we do art. We have a lot of paint, canvas, but we also have sewing machines. We have laser cutter. We have 3D printers. We have fabric, scrapbooking. I have so many stamps. I can't even tell you the number of stamps I have, but we've had incredible donations and support, and there are so many things in the makerspace for people to do. And we do workshops at least once a month on different topics so that people can learn about things if they don't know about them.
That's awesome. So that was going to be my next question is, where does all this stuff come from?
Yeah, so there was a small amount of money through the coalition for us to buy things like the laser cutter, which was a really cool investment for us. But otherwise, we always take donations. We always accept them. Sometimes we spend our own money because, like you said, we don't make money from this. But it depends on the project. And sometimes if people want to do a project, they bring the material, we give the tool, and we help make things happen.
Very cool. So now I'm kind of racking my brain on things I can donate, and I hope that you are at home as well. So, Charlie, where did this idea come from?
I have ADHD, and if you have ADHD, you understand that sometimes creative outlets are extremely necessary for your sanity. So I have always loved art. I've always been a reader. I've always been a writer. And Nick, my co-coordinator, he does cybersecurity for his day job, but he loves tech, 3D printing, all the machines, all the things. And we had two really creative people and said, hey, we'll run this in our free time. I don't know how many hours we can do it, but we'll do our best for as long as possible. So we just came together and we've been doing it since. So
awesome. That's right, kids. A is for ADHD.
Yeah.
So, Charlie, we've talked a little bit about the Nice Space.
Absolutely.
And you're right, I did not connect the Nice Space to the MySpace. Who are you?
That's a good question. I am funny and creative. No, I think Nice Space is one of my best things to come up with ever, but I don't know if anybody agrees. So, but I was an Army brat as a kid. Both of my parents were in the military. And I actually went to UNR for my undergrad. I got a job offer in Pahrump about 6 months after, so 2018. So I studied public health and sociology and all of those good things, and have been here since October of 2018. I ran the AmeriCorps program, and so I've always done community-oriented systems development, for lack of a better word, but I have been involved in the community in a lot of ways, and love living here. I love being in a smaller town, in a rural town, and love just bringing a cool idea to us. So, yeah.
Very cool. Now, when you say 2018, I'm of course going back in my notes going, that was last year that you moved here. You've only been here for a year. But no,
Feels like it.
Yeah, it's 2025 now, folks.
Yep.
So love that. So went through your history a little bit. Professionally, talk to me about, what are your goals here with the NISpace? What is it that you want to see?
I think the typical answer to this would have some grand plans for things, but truly our goal is providing access to tools, providing a safe environment, a comfortable environment to be creative, to learn something new, to save money, to do random projects, to have people that can teach you, and to get exposure to instructors, or just find passion or love for something. Having ADHD has given me access to way too many hobbies, if you can imagine. And I partially needed somewhere for those things to go. So I would bet 20% of the things in the makerspace are from me and my hobbies. But the goal is just to serve people in unique ways, and to continue to show up and tell them that we're there and we have these things.
There's a great video that I'll send you if you haven't seen it already, and it talks about ADHD and hobbies.
Mm-hmm.
And the parent comes into the son's room and they're like, when did you learn how to do that? And they're like, oh, that was right after my painting phase, right before I started creating digital music.
Yes.
So it is true, right?
Yes.
People, I think, have viewed ADHD, they used to call it a learning disability, and we're now finding that some of the most brilliant people in the world and in history have had some of these differences in how they learn. So thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Absolutely. I mean, you'll be thrilled to know that I taught myself how to crochet last week.
Awesome.
And I know 4 stitches, so I'll be bringing it to the makerspace.
Fantastic.
For sure.
Because you'll be done with that in May.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. So.
So you've mentioned a few things. Can you kind of run us through just some of the cooler things that go on at the makerspace, and how somebody will find access to those things? Yeah.
So like I said, we kind of operate independently from the coalition, which means that when you go there during working hours, I'll be at my day job. So we usually do workshops or open labs 2 Saturdays a month. So open lab is the second Saturday, and our workshop is the last Saturday of each month. So for example, our first open lab is this Saturday of the year. We took a break in January because we were tired, as I can imagine most of you were. But open lab is what we call where we just come to hang out. And it's where we open the space, literally open the door, hang out in there, work on projects, do coordinator things. But people have come in there to just paint, to do their own watercolors. They've come in to eat breakfast and hang out with us. So many things have happened in there. And our workshop this month is actually a maker-thon, which is, we'll have 4 stations set up where you can make bracelets, earrings, and wood art, I believe, is one, and I'm not recalling the 4th, but we started a page on Facebook so that we can talk about these things. But as far as the creation of the makerspace and what we've done so far, last April was our first ever workshop, and it was on soil science, which sounds like convoluted, but it really wasn't. It was about how to start a garden in Pahrump, and how to amend your soil and get it to the correct neutrality or pH so that you could grow things and not lose everything to what we often lose them to, which is mice and or random things. So yeah, and since then we've done a workshop on 3D printing. We've done a workshop on laser cutting, engraving. We've done a workshop on food science, which sounds a little odd, but it was actually one of the most fun things I've ever done. And I believe we'll be doing a workshop on preserving food correctly next month. in a partnership with the 4-H. So we try to find people that excel in these things and do really cool workshops. So that was a long answer, but there's a lot of cool things that happen in there.
And I tell folks that this is when John first interviewed me, this is the easiest job, because John asked me about 4 questions and I just didn't shut the heck up. So that's what I'm glad to do that for you. So I want to, as we start to run out of time, these are shorter segments. I always ask folks, like, what are you here for? If you could tell the community one thing, what would it be?
I think I would say that NiSpace was created by 2 passionate people that are super approachable, knowledgeable, and not afraid to fail. We have a lot of failures in the makerspace, which is what creating is all about. But I would tell them that they're in good hands if they decide to come to the makerspace. That they should follow our Facebook page, because that's where all the news comes. And that if they have questions, ideas, donations, wink, wink. I mean, I'll take acrylic paint any day. But any of those things, you're in excellent hands, and just stop by, hang out. And best of all, bring your kids to make a mess in our space, and then you don't have to clean it up at your house.
Very, very cool. Well, you've certainly inspired me to come bring some donations. Do you take food donations as well for snacks and stuff like that?
We do take snacks. Other supplies are just paint, wood, jars, crafting. I think I've gotten about 20 pounds of fabric, but any and all of it, if you can craft or create with it, we'll take it.
Love it. Very cool. So, I want to thank you so much, Charlie Bruce, for coming on our show. Please, please, please check out the NiSpace. I know I want to. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I want to make some jewelry for Valentine's Day. What a free and easy way to treat Megan to something nice. I want to thank our audience for being here. And this is Dr. Christopher Salute from the Community Viewpoint. We have Charlie Bruce here, who has just told us a bit about our NiSpace. And the NiSpace is at the Coalition.
Yes.
You can find them on Facebook. You can email Charlie, and the email address has been scrolling across the screen to let them know when you'd like to be there, or rather find out when they'll be there. And you can join any one of their open labs or their workshops, which are the second and last Saturday of every month. We're learning. Thanks so much for being here. Have a great day.
Thank you,
Charlie.
Of course.
Welcome back to Community Viewpoint. Again, my name is Dr. Christopher Salute. I want to thank KPVM for having me on, and thank Mikey Rooney for producing. I'm really excited to have my next guest here, and we're going to talk a little bit about what this means for Community Viewpoint. I don't know how John did the show. He's an incredible guy. I'm sorry to say that I didn't watch it before I was originally on it, and now I do. I'd like to start bringing in for-profit business owners here in town in Pahrump, and you'll see a couple of the articles that I've written in Pahrump Life magazine about how we really need to support small businesses. I'm not a huge fan of going to the Walmart parking lot and seeing it packed and then going and seeing a foreclosure sign on buildings. So I want to introduce you to a gentleman by the name of Matthew Brewer. Matthew, I'm terrible, and I know you go by Matt, but I'm trying to be formal. Yeah. I'm terrible at introducing people. I will tell folks that you have a 2019 GMC pickup truck, but I'll forget the rest of your story. So please, and I know that's not what you have, please tell folks a little bit about yourself.
Hi guys, my name is Matt Brewer. I'm a currently disabled vet. I own Lowside Cigar Lounge here in town. So I moved here back in April of 2021, right during the big COVID push of coming to town. I actually moved to Pahrump to retire. I had done a few things, so I spent some of my time in the Navy, which was about 8 years, did 5 Middle East deployments, and then got out and found a job with Intel. And I worked with Intel and Micron, did that for 6 years, and at that point, some things had happened, and I looked at the wife and I said, hey, we won't be rich, but if we do this right, we can retire. And so we looked all around for a place to live that had the community, the moral standings, and the kind of small town life that we wanted, and we landed in Pahrump.
That's awesome. That's one of the first times I've heard of somebody intentionally choosing Pahrump. Most people just wind up drawn here, so thank you. I also have said this in private, but I will say it publicly. Thank you so much for your service. I don't think I knew it until today that you were disabled. So Megan, I will mention her throughout the show, as you'll see, and Megs will come and smoke cigars with Matt. And I mentioned at one point, because she was arguing with Matt, I said, he's a Navy, SEAL, right?
No.
Just Navy.
Just regular Navy. I was
Yeah.
a mineman and then a rescue swimmer.
Gotcha. But the point was, I said, please don't argue with Matt. He's from the Navy. I can't take him. Knowing you're disabled, we might have a shot. It might be a more even fight.
Yeah, just go for the knees, man.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, the same for me, actually. So you've talked a little bit about your history here. Tell us about Low Side Cigars.
So Low Side Cigar Lounge, what it is when I moved here, I'm an avid cigar smoker. I started back in the Navy because we have a tradition called sunset cigars, where you go back to the fantail, the back of the ship, and as the sun sinks into the ocean, you spark up a cigar and you sit, and it's kind of a time for sailors to take off their official hat, and mingle with the captain, the XO, the chiefs. It's a very informal thing, which the military doesn't get to do a lot, especially with the higher ups. It's called fraternization.
Right.
But this is one of those traditions that's gotten to stay. So that was back when I was 18. After that, I knew cigars were a thing for the rest of my life. Like, I knew that was going to be my thing. So fast forward a whole bunch of years, bunch of research. When I moved here, my options were to go to Vegas. And driving an hour for cigars isn't the best thing, and I knew that if I was doing that, there were a lot of other people doing that, and then it was a very big goal of my life to own my own cigar lounge. So I looked around, I talked to the wife, and I said, I really want to try this and see if Pahrump is ready for a legitimate cigar lounge, something that focuses on the culture, the protocols, the just relaxation that cigars give you, and have a place to do that specifically for premium tobacco. So we took everything we had, we put it together, and I opened the shop. It's the mix of the two greatest loves of my life. It's motorcycles and cigars, and that's why the name Low Side.
Very cool, very cool. I remember when I first walked into you, it was probably my first month here in Pahrump.
Yeah.
I knew I wanted to smoke a cigar there, but it was during the day. I was just going to come introduce myself. And even during the day, you had 10 or 12 folks there smoking cigars. We
do, yeah. We have a great group of guys and gals that come in. So we have men, women. We have, your old heads that have been smoking since way before I was born. We've got a lot of younger kids, my age, younger than me, 21 and up, but that are finding the love of the leaf, is what we call it in the cigar culture. Yeah, so, we do a lot of small groups. Every day we've got somewhere between 8 and 12 people that are sitting there hanging out and talking about everything.
Very cool, very cool. Now, my favorite personal event that you do, which is coming up this Sunday, by the way, which is, I think you just call it morning cigars or coffee and cigars.
Yeah, so we call it Coffee Sundays.
Okay.
So that was an invention from my wife. We had a couple of guys that were saying they wish we opened up a little earlier than 10 a.m. And I said, okay, well, let's talk about it. And I talked to the wife and I said, hey, if you want to do something like that, let's do it on a Sunday, and bring pastries and coffee and all of that, and let people get in a couple hours earlier. And so Coffee Sundays at 8 a.m. on the second Sunday of every month. We open up 2 hours early. We brew a bunch of coffee, which we're working on bringing in some of our local coffee guys, so that we've got local coffee. Wow. Cool. Local business support other local businesses.
Yes.
And then we typically either, my wife will bake something, or one of our members will bring in something that they baked, and it's just a free-for-all, basically. Come in, get a breakfast treat, get a cup of coffee, grab a good morning cigar, and sit and start your day with some socialization.
Cool. And as you may have noticed, I'm writing down bring something in on Sunday, because I like to build community with my snacks as well. Yep. Speaking of community, Matt, talk a little bit about, we're here to talk about a small business, but it's called Community Viewpoint. So talk about your community.
So my community is obviously premium tobacco users, right? Pipe tobacco, premium cigars. So no cigarettes, no marijuana, no vape, but it's all about giving us a place to have the premium cigars, much like this one, long filler from the Dominican or Honduras or Nicaragua or wherever they come from, and really experience that. So our community is made up of mostly veterans, veteran-owned company, and so a lot of veterans come in and support, but the town is a lot of veterans, and so that's a big part of it. But we've got all ages, men, women, people that are coming in for the first time, they saw a cigar in a movie and wanted to try one. I personally specialize in bringing people into the culture, and I want to bring them into the hobby. I'm not there to sell you the most expensive cigar I got. I'm there to sell you on the best experience I can give you. And if the best experience is a $6 cigar, then I'm going to sell you that $6 cigar as opposed to the $20 cigar. Right. The community is about bringing in the culture, teaching the faux pas and the kind of rules around being in a lounge. But we do a lot. We discuss local politics, national politics. We talk about religion. There's no subject that's off limits in a cigar lounge. It's one of the last few places, in the world that you can talk about everything. It's kind of a barber shop, but with smoking. So. But our culture is great. Everybody gets greeted when they come in. The guys, guys and gals are always greeting new people. We invite everyone to join the conversation pits and jump in, even if they're brand new. Hey, come sit over with us, and enjoy. And we like to meet new people.
Yeah, and I will absolutely say, if you know me in town, you know that I come from New York City, so I'm a little bit different from the folks here in Pahrump. And I've been going to the cigar lounge now for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
I think part of being an adult is having uncomfortable conversations, but there's never a time in which you don't feel welcome there, ever.
Right.
So I want to thank you for doing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I will also say, too, and I know this is your time to speak, but I just want to comment on your professionalism of your cigar knowledge. So I did not wait until I was 18. I think I had my first cigar at like 14 or 15.
Okay.
Dad, if you're watching, I'm sorry. And it was me and like 4 dudes just passing a cigar back and forth, probably not the ideal way to smoke it.
No.
But I will say that I have not learned more about cigars than I have learned in the past 2 years from you. So thank you for providing that service.
Absolutely. I really appreciate that. That's high praise. Thank you.
No problem. No problem. So we're coming up on the last couple of minutes. What do you have going on over the next couple of months events-wise?
So events-wise, we have obviously this upcoming Sunday. We've got Coffee Sunday in the morning, which rolls right into the Super Bowl party. And so we've got a big party, free food, free admission. The only thing is come in and buy cigars, and for every cigar you buy, you get a raffle ticket. So you're not out anything to be a part of the raffle. You're coming in to get something that you want anyway. So we've got that coming on. We've got what we call Sticks and Spirits in March. We're going to bring in the local rum distillery and do a pop-up where I actually pair cigars with a limited menu from the rum distillery. And so your ticket purchase gets that pairing together. And then April 26th is our 2-year anniversary. So we'll be open officially 2 years, April 15th, tax day. Right. But we're doing the party on April 26th so that we can bring the brand owners of Apostate down. So which is something that we do frequently at the Cigar Lounge, is we bring brand owners and major brand reps into the Cigar Lounge so that you guys can meet them, talk about the industry, ask questions about their cigars. And I mean, we're talking, we had Asylum in last week, we bring in Apostate, we've got ZR Cigars, Illusion, we've got tons of people that come in.
If you don't know these brands, these are pretty high-end, or not even high-end, but popular cigars.
Yep.
So it's really unique to have, and I don't mean to invalidate, a small mom-and-pop cigar lounge to have those folks in. So Matt's definitely doing his job in building that community.
Absolutely.
So Matt, we're coming up on the last few minutes, and I always ask this question to folks. What do you want? What's the thing that you'd like to tell to our audience?
What I want to tell the audience is don't be afraid of cigars. For a lot of years, cigars were looked at as the man's hobby, right? Women, they don't smoke cigars. That's not true anymore. The industry has finally figured out that women like cigars just as much as men does, and we have a ton of great options. I've got 400 different options for you to choose from, and I will help guide you the best experience. I want to bring everyone into the culture, men, women. If it's your first cigar or your millionth cigar, we're the place for you. We do events. You can rent the lounge if you want to do a private event. I can also do private parties if you want a cigar bar at an event that you're hosting at your house or something like that. But I just want to let people know that we exist and we're here for the culture, and that we want you to be a part of it.
Awesome. We've already talked about Megs and I maybe doing an after party at the Cigar Lounge or having Matt come and serve cigars at our wedding. So we're right here supporting small.
Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Matt, I want to thank you so much for being on the show. This is Matt Brewer with Low Side Cigars. If you don't know where Low Side Cigars is, it's right behind the Calvada Eye. So if you take a left or a right on Calvada off of 160, you'll bump right into it. It's next to that really good pizza shop that has probably some of the best pizza I've ever had since moving from New York.
Yeah.
Matt, I want to thank you so much for being on the show.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. This is Dr. Christopher Salute with Community Viewpoint. Matt, any last words for the audience?
So we have a little saying at the Low Side Cigar Lounge is, we love you and stay smoky, everybody.
Awesome. Stay smoky, everybody. Have a great afternoon. Matt, thanks again. This is Dr. Christopher Salute with Community Viewpoint. Just want to again thank KPVM and thank Mikey Rooney for producing. You have a great night.